Welcome to Port St. Lucie. This is Professor Tefero for Taoist poetry and Chinese Taoist poetry, to be precise. And we are going to do lesson 2 this evening, which is basically analyzing what happened to the Upanishads from India when they entered China several thousands of years ago, possibly 5 to 8,000 years ago. At that time, there was no Buddhism. There was no basic religions. There was no Confucianism. There was no Taoism. There wasn't anything. There were basic belief principles of the sky and the sun and what usual civilizations had for religion and philosophy at that time. We're looking at approximately 8,000 BC. People weren't overly concerned with religion and philosophy. They were concerned about eating and staying alive. So, what happened when the Upanishads did reach the areas of Tibet and then wandered in to the east, to central China and beyond? Well, first of all, the powers that be in Tibet, the high priests or the medicine men who were in charge of the tribes, looked at the Upanishads and they said, well, we really can't use this. I mean, this puts all of the responsibility on people themselves, and we don't want to do that. We want to have the responsibility of taking care of all the people. We want the people to believe in us and our magic and our mystical powers. We don't want people to believe in themselves. That would defeat the whole purpose of trying to achieve power. So, basically, the Upanishads were ignored initially in 8,000 BC, and it wasn't until approximately 2000 BC that the Upanishads finally got some recognition in China and in Tibet first and then in China, because they had some connection to native ancient Chinese Taoism. Now, ancient Chinese Taoism was purely religious. It had thousands of gods and lots of high priests and temples and offerings and laws and customs, and the Upanishads had none of these things. So, to a certain percentage of the people in Tibet, it appealed to them on a common sense level. It said, we don't have to listen to all of these priests and gods and all of these laws. We can just listen to ourselves. That makes sense to me. So the Upanishads began to get thousands of adherents within Taoism. Taoism became split at this time. It split between religious Taoism and philosophical Taoism. And the religious Taoism retained the gods, the laws, the priests, and the temples. And the philosophical Taoism, which had come from India, said, we don't need any of those things. We have philosophical Taoism, which is based on the Upanishads and common sense. We're going to take the individual approach. And that's when you had your first split between philosophical Taoism and religious Taoism. Make no mistake, religious Taoism was still the most powerful element of Taoism in China from 2000 BC even until the modern times. Philosophical Taoism never, ever took root as a power or political structure within China. Only religious Taoism had that benefit. And religious Taoism shared that benefit with Confucianism, which would come 1,000 or so years later. So to be clear, initially there was just religious Taoism in China, then philosophical Taoism came to Tibet through the Upanishads and instituted philosophical Taoism, and now you had two types of Taoism within China, and you still do until this very day. Next time, we're going to examine what happened after the Upanishads were introduced into Tibet and other parts of China. Until then, this is Professor Tefero from Port St. Lucie, wishing you a happy evening, and everyone take care. Bye-bye.